Look at the sideboard here. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. 11/11, Veterans Day. It's also one of my sister's birthdays. Fun fact, okay? SWBA student will be able to graph linear equations in standard form. Section 4.7. Cool. So we have this thing called standard form. Okay, we talked about slope-intercept form last time. Okay, slope-intercept form was y equals mx plus b. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
I hope so, because we talked about it literally like 5 minutes ago. Not even. Okay. Then we have this thing called standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. Okay. You might want to underline or like highlight or do something just to make sure we remember this ax plus by equals c. What was your question, Abby?
Oh, I figured it out.
Oh, okay, cool. So, an x-intercept. Do you guys remember y-intercept last section?
Yeah.
Okay, what was the y-intercept real quick, actually?
When it crosses the y.
It's where it crosses the y-axis. So what do we think an x-intercept is
It's
going to
gonna
be?
cross that. It's gonna intercept the x.
Is on the graph is the point where the graph crosses the x-axis. Very good. Okay, the x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. Okay, so what do we think the next blank is?
Y.
The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, okay? So not only can we have a y-intercept, we can also have an x-intercept, okay? Now, we don't have a certain variable that is our x-intercept like we do with our y-intercept, okay? Our y-intercept, we called it b, okay? We don't have a variable for our x-intercept. Our x-intercept is, at this stage, for graphing, is less useful for us. Later on, it actually becomes a lot more useful, but at this stage of graphing, it's a little bit less useful than the y-intercept. So that's why we have the emphasis on the y-intercept, especially last section. But today, we're going to use both quite a bit. So we have these steps we're going to follow, okay? So our first step is we're going to find the x and y-intercept. Now, hey, let me ask you guys this, okay? Don't draw anything on this graph, okay? I'm just going to use this graph as an example. Let's say we have this graph right here, okay? It actually worked out really well for my example, okay? Now, we have this y-intercept right here, and the y-intercept looks to be where? At 3, okay? So what's the coordinate of that point? 0, 3. Now, the x value is what? 0, okay? The x value for this point, okay? You're thinking x-intercept, you're jumping ahead. I love it, though, okay? The x value for this point is 0. Could the x value for the y-intercept be anything other than 0? Okay, let's think about it. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, right? So is it going to cross the y-axis anywhere but when x is 0? No, it's not going to cross it over here to the left. It's not going to cross it over here farther to the left. It's not going to cross it over here to the right or farther to the right. There's no way it can cross this line unless it's at the line. And it's not at the line unless x is 0. Same idea for the x-intercept here. Where it crosses the x-axis, where does it look to be? When x is not 4, but 5. So what's the coordinate of this point? 5, 0. So same idea here. If it's crossing this x-axis, the y value has to be 0. The y value can't be higher or lower if it's going to cross this axis. If it's going to cross the axis, it has to be on the axis. So the value has to be 0 for y. So for the x-intercept, the y is 0. The y-intercept, the x is 0. Okay, so for one of the intercepts, the other value is always 0. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if it does, thumbs down if it doesn't. Be honest with me. Okay, I need votes. I need everyone's vote.
Is it like a medal?
I don't understand
Okay.
what about 5 from.
Is it like an
Okay? Okay, nope. Either it makes sense or it doesn't right now. Okay? Full send. Okay, let's talk about this a little bit more here, okay? So, you said you don't understand where the 5 came from. So we say, okay, this point is what we're calling our x-intercept, is where it crosses the x-axis. Just like the y-axis had a y-intercept where it crosses right here, this 5, 0 is where it crosses this x-axis. So it crosses at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, okay? So there's no way for the x-intercept to have any y value but 0, okay? So if y is down here at -4, it can't cross the y-axis or the x-axis. It can't be in two places at once, okay? Just like I can't be in the door, okay? I can't be in the door and over at the window at the same time. I can't be in both places at once, okay? Right? That'd be kind of creepy if I was, okay? I can't be in both places at once. Same idea. The y value can't be negative. That is negative 4. I second guess myself. It can't be negative 4 and 0 at the same time. So it can't be down here and at the x-axis. So the x-intercept has to have a y value of 0, okay? Just like the y-axis, if it's the intercept of the y-intercept, if it's the y-intercept, the x value has to be 0. It can't be farther to the left, farther to the right, because it can't be in two places at once, okay? It can't touch the door if it's over at the window, okay? Does that make any more sense? Okay, we're going to try and continue on, and I hope as we go on it makes a little more sense to each of us, okay? So our first step is to find the x and y intercepts, okay? So we're finding the x and y intercepts here. So to find the x-intercept, we're going to substitute 0 in for y, because we said if it crosses the x-axis, the y value must be 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in 0 for the y. And that's going to be wherever the x-intercept is. We'll see how that works in a moment. Y-intercept, same idea, but plug 0 in for x. Then we're going to plot both intercepts and draw a line through them. We have this equation, 4x plus 2y equals 12. Is this in slope-intercept form?
No.
No, it's in our standard form, which we said a moment ago is... My goodness, this thing's being weird. Which we said a moment ago was ax plus by equals c. It's in our standard form. The a looks to be 4, the b looks to be 2, and the c looks to be 12, okay? What we're going to do right now is find the x-intercept. So we're going to substitute 0 in for y. We're going to substitute 0 in for y. So I'm going to take this equation, 4x plus 2 times 0 equals 12. 4x plus 2 times 0 in for equals 12. Everything's the same except for y is now 0. Okay, so we're going to write this equation down. Now we're going to start solving for x. And now Abby went ahead and said that, hey, 2 times 0, that's 0, okay? So 4x plus 0. Do we even need to write that plus 0?
No, so 4x.
No, you can just put 4x equals 12. You don't have to put 4x plus 0. Okay, you don't have to say that we're adding 0 because the number stays the same. So now, if it's 4x equals 12, how do I get x by itself? Divide by 4. So x is 3. So we plugged in 0 for y, and we got 4 out for x. That means we have an ordered pair where x is 3 and y is 0. Because our x value was 3 when y was 0. So this gives us an ordered pair, 3, 0. And if we go ahead and plot 3, 0, we get it to be right here. Is that on the x-axis? So it's our x-intercept. It's where this line that we're about to finish graphing hits the x-axis. So when we plugged in 0 for the other coordinate, for the other variable, we got the x-intercept. So plug in 0 for the other one, you get x-intercept. We're going to do the same idea, but this time we're going to find the y-intercept. So we're going to take the same equation, 4x plus 2y equals 12, but in this end, x is going to be 0. 4 times 0 plus 2y equals 12. Go ahead and write down this equation now that I have in the blue down in the bottom middle. Well, what is 4 times 0, Josh? 0. Do I need to put that as 0 plus 2y? No, I can just put 2y. 2y equals 12. Now what? Okay, go ahead. Divide by 2. Thank you, Abby. Y equals 6. So this is another ordered pair. When I plugged in 0 for x, I got 6 out as the y. So this ordered pair would be the x is 0, the y is 6. So 0, 6. So if we go ahead and plot this ordered pair, we're going to go up 6. Now, is this one on the y-axis? Yeah. So it's the y-intercept. It's where it crosses that. So when we plugged in 0 for x, we got the y-intercept. When we plugged in 0 for y, we got the x-intercept. And now I'm going to connect these 2 points, preferably using some sort of straight edge, which can be a paper, a notebook, a ruler, a phone, a marker, you name it, anything that is straight along one edge. Okay? And this is our line. So this is another way to graph line. This is the third way we've learned to graph lines. We made a table, we used the slope and the y-intercept, and now we're using the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So we know both these points are on the line, so there's only one way to connect the two. Nice, okay? Only one way to connect the two. And we're done with it. Okay, we found the intercepts, we plotted both of them, we drew a line through them. We graphed it. We're going to try the same thing with number 2. 3x minus 2y equals 6.
I have a question because I started it. I have a question. Does it matter that the 2 would have been like negative because it's minus 2?
If it's 0, it won't end up mattering. But if it's not 0, then it will matter. So to find one intercept, you have to find both. But to find one intercept, you replace the other variable with 0. So it doesn't matter which one we find first. Does anyone want to vote whether we find the x or the y-intercept first?
No.
Okay, cool. Find the x-intercept first. So what variable has to be 0? Y, the other variable. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 3x minus 2y equals 6, and it's going to be 3x minus 2 times 0 equals 6. Well, what is 2 times 0? 0. So we just have 3x minus 0, so 3x equals 6. Divide by 3, x is 2. Now, if you're starting to realize already that, oh, this is going to be 2 comma 0 because the x is 2, the y is 0, and you're just saying, I'm going to go 2 on the x-axis, then that's okay. You don't even have to write the point. You can just you can plot it. So if you're starting to realize, oh, I don't even need to write that as 2 comma 0. I can just plot it at 2 on the x-axis because x equals 2. That's perfectly fine. If you're not realizing that, that's okay. If that's not clicking for you, write out the coordinate like I did. Questions on the x-intercept? Can somebody walk me through how to find the y-intercept? Okay, go ahead, Abby Simmonsma.
You do 3 times 0
Yep.
minus 2y
Yep.
equals 6.
Very good. So we plug in 0 for the x value. Go ahead and keep going.
And then you know, 3 times 0 is 0.
Yep.
So you bring down negative 2y equals 6.
I love it. Love that you remember that the 2y was negative.
And then you divide negative 2y by negative 2.
Yep.
And do the same to the other side.
Okay, awesome.
And then you get y equals negative 3.
Very good. And so when we plugged in x as 0, and then, or 0 as x, excuse me, and then we got negative 3 out of our y. So it's 0 comma negative 3. So we can go to our y-axis and go down 3, because that's where y is equal to negative 3. We connect these 2 points. And now we have our graph. Ooh, you know what? I can make this creative colorful. You guys ready for this? Okay. Blue and yellow makes green. Art glass. Oh, I should have done purple on the other one. Oh. Okay, okay. Yeah, that was a good idea. Okay? Okay. Questions on these for now? Okay, give me a thumbs up if you're feeling pretty good about these. Thumbs down if you're not.
This is a short thing.
It is a short section, okay? So we should have some good homework time today, which is really nice. Okay? Do you want to not have homework time?
I don't want to do it.
Oh, that's too bad.
Doesn't want to have a do it in class.
Yes. You want to just not do it at home? Okay. Well, hey, good thing I'm going to be giving you time to work on it today, I guess. I don't know what to say to that, buddy. Okay. So let's look at number 3. Negative 5x plus 10y equals negative 30. We're going to do the same exact thing here. Which intercept do you want to find first? Okay, I heard x. Okay, let's do x, okay? So, Elijah, help me write what I'm putting down.
Negative 5.
Okay.
0.
Okay, so negative 5 times, no, not quite. So if we're finding the x-intercept, 0 is the other variable. So go ahead and keep going, though. Negative 5.
Plus 10 times 0.
Yep.
Equals negative 3.
Very good. So if we're finding the x-intercept, 0 is the other variable. So it's the y-intercept. Right, so the y value, excuse me. So negative 5x plus 10 times 0 equals negative 30. Well, hey, Ellie, what is 10 times 0? 0. So do I need to put plus 0? Nah. Negative 5x equals negative 30. Well, Jaden, what do I do now?
Divided by negative 5.
Nailed it. And what does x equal, buddy? 6. So we have 6 comma 0 because the x is 6. The y is 0. So we go ahead and graph that. Okay, now we need to find the y-intercept. Raise your hand if you want to help me find the y-intercept. Okay, Ellie? Okay, so negative 5 times 0 plus 10y equals negative 30. Okay.
So it's 10y. And then you divide that by 10. And then divide negative 30 by 10. Negative 3.
And we get y to be negative 3. Very good. Okay, so this is 0 comma negative 3. The x is 0, the y is negative 3. So yellow and red make orange.
How do you know this? How do you not know this?
This is very.
Okay, yes, Jaden.
You can just write it as 6x equals negative 9.
Equals negative 9.
Couldn't you just like get rid of this since you're getting rid of it? So just 6x. I mean, just get straight to the point. Sorry.
Oh, so you're saying like instead of like doing this first step, just like jump to here. Instead of doing this first step, just jump to here.
Yeah, so you can just do that.
Yeah. If you already know it's gonna get rid of that, that's fine. Okay. Yes.
If we're first part, and we're supposed to do x, I'm just putting the 0 where y is supposed to be.
Yep. Yeah. So whenever you find one of the intercepts, the other variable is 0. So when you found the y-intercept, x is 0. When you find the x-intercept, y is 0. So the other variable is 0. That make more sense? Okay. I want you guys to try number 4. When you have it or have questions, raise your hand. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Okay. I'm going to erase this just so I have room. Rainbow. Okay. So 6x minus 3y equals negative 9. Okay. So if we're plugging in for the x-intercept, we're going to make y 0. So 6x minus 3 times 0 equals negative 9. So well, 3 times 0 is going to be 0. So 6x is equal to negative 9. Divide by 6. X is, well, it doesn't simplify all the way, but 3 goes into both. So it's negative 3 over 2. Negative 3 over 2 is the same thing as negative 1.5, comma 0. So we go over halfway between negative 1 and negative 2, okay? So a lot of us are wondering, well, how do I plot this, okay? Well, it's not negative 2, it's not negative 1, it's halfway between them. So we're just going to go halfway between them and plot them there, okay? So go ahead and do that now if you haven't already.
Wait, halfway between like 1 and 2.
Halfway between negative 1 and negative 2.
So go with this.
Hi, Shaky. I'm Abby. Nice to meet you.
Nice. Then for the y-intercept, we're going to plug in, make the x 0, okay? Plug in 0 for x. 6 times 0 minus 3y equals negative 9. Well, 6 times 0 is 0. So negative 3y equals negative 9. Divide by negative 3. And y is a positive 3. So now we go up on the graph and go positive 3 up. And we should know that red and blue make
Purple.
purple.
Where are we getting the fractions?
Okay, how did we get the fraction on this one?
Oh, no. Are we gonna do fractions on this?
Oh, we might. Okay, fractions are numbers too. Okay, you might. Okay, any questions on this? Okay, are we already done with the notes?
So do we have
Yes.
to change it to decimal?
What?
Do we have to change it to
No,
decimal?
no. If the negative 3 halves makes sense to you as is, leave it. But if it doesn't, then changing it to fraction can sometimes help it to make more sense. Okay. Yep, Haven.
Just in case, can you teach us how to do a fraction?
We just did.
Oh, this is a fraction one?
Well, let's look. Well, x is negative 3 over 2.
So, like, say, -3.
Oh, like there's a fraction in it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you would undo it. You would undo the fraction. So let's say, like, for grins and giggles, buddy, okay, you had this equation where it was like 3/5 x plus, 4y equals, 18. I'm just coming up with random numbers, okay? Okay, that one actually works out pretty well. Okay, cool. So let's say we're finding the x-intercept. Well, then the y is still 0. So you have 3/5 x equals 18, because 4 times 0 is 0. So you multiply by 5 over 3, just like we would have back in chapter 2.
Okay.
And then simplify from there and get x to be 30. Now, if you had done the other one, for the y-intercept, you go like this. 3 over 5 times 0 plus 4y equals 18. Well, oh my goodness. Well, 3/5 times 0 is 0, so you're just left with 4y equals 18, which doesn't divide super nicely, because y ends up being 9 over 2. So, I mean, you would just do it like a normal problem. Does that make sense? Okay. Any other questions on this? I saw another hand earlier.
I don't have hands.
Okay, you don't have hands, okay?
You don't have toes either.
You probably can't catch hands, okay?
No.
Hey, or throw them. Now, hey, let's look over the side real quick. On Friday, we're going to do section 4.8, and that finishes up this note packet, okay? That finishes up Unit 4A, okay? We'll still have Unit 4B later, but that finishes up Unit 4A. So that means next week, okay, Tuesday review, Thursday, we're looking at tests, okay? Just a heads up. What?
You don't.
Okay.